That lifestyle is a sin in God's eyes, and it ain't cool. But getting back to the subject at hand, the media, it kind of threw me for a loop. But then I'm like, and I thought about it, I'm like, it's because of the media. You don't hear the media talking about feed the multitudes. Or he obviously never heard about it because I've seen it, but it affects the way this world views Christians. And I think it's all a matter of control, because the Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist, doesn't want the gospel spreading. He doesn't want to see the success or how. He only wants to hyphen or bring a hype to the condemning side of Christianity, and not the life-changing alteration that takes a sinner and cleans him and makes him holy through God's grace and His Spirit. So, yeah, that's what I got.
All right. Give me some background information about yourself, sir.
My name is Adam Brown, and I'm the Associate Youth Pastor for World Prayer Tabernacle South right here in Chalmette. I've been involved in youth ministry. This year would be 11 years. I've read the Bible completely 4 times. I currently do vending in New Orleans, and I guess that's about it.
How do you think the fleshly ways of Christians nowadays affect non-believers?
Well, it affects them big time. I mean, the problem is and I truly believe it's a lot of problems that we experience here in America today, is that the church isn't the church the way it's supposed to be. I mean, the Bible, I've heard a message preached years ago, you know, an acronym for Bible is the basic instructions before leaving earth. And the problem is that in America we live in kind of like a Piccadilly kind of world. We pick and choose what we want, when unfortunately that's not the case when it comes to real Christianity. You either believe all of it or you don't believe any of it. In Revelations, God talks about how He'd rather you be hot or be cold, but not lukewarm. He says, either pick a side, but don't be in the middle. You can't. And it's the same way. And so I truly believe it's drastically had an effect on the Christians, or the way the church looks in America, because Christians aren't being the real Christians. They aren't being Christ-like, like the way the Bible was supposed to be. And I think truly if we get back to them roots, it will actually solve a lot of problems that's going on in America. Helping the homeless, feeding the hungry, or different projects like that, helping people get jobs. I mean, that's what the church is called to do, pray for the sick. I mean, if we had people to actually go back and to truly believe faith in the Almighty One, there'd be no need for these high hospital bills, or if we could come together and things get things rolling. I mean, truly, if the church came together and was to be the church it was called to be, we wouldn't have a lot of problems we're having here in America. So I truly do believe that.
What is your opinion on the media's negative effect on Christian ethics?
The media. There's a scripture that sums it up real well, as the media being the liberal media that they are. And it's one of my favorite scriptures. Actually, I have it pulled up. It's 2 Timothy 4. And it goes on to say, in verse 2, it says, "Preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season, correct, rebuke, and encourage, with great patience and careful instruction. For the time will come when men will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. They will turn their ears away from the truth and turn aside to myths. But you keep your heads in all situation, endure hardship, do the work of an evangelist, and discharge all the duties of your ministry." And as far as liberal media goes, that's exactly the truth. I mean, the poor display of Christians is, we do one thing wrong because we're not perfect. Nobody was perfect except Jesus Christ. We do one thing wrong, and that liberal media blows it up because there's There are dogs out there that's what they strive to do. That's what they do, to just prove us wrong. And we live in a generation where everything is so topsy-turvy. What's wrong is now right, and what's right is now wrong. And the media feeds off that. The media feeds off that, and I truly believe it has a lot to do with the money that the media generates. Because you know, if you got this watchdog group and this watchdog group, you know, they keep fighting at each other, well, the media is, of course, going to go lean towards the one that's going to have the most money or put up the most money. And like I said, the church does one thing wrong, and the media blows it up out of proportion. Instead of talking about real issues that, you know, the churches in today or America are helping phenomenous and just greater number of people who are hungry or who are homeless or a lot of missions and things like that. I mean, people fail to forget that, you know, the food banks and all things like that, they're pushed behind churches, but you never hear anything about that. And you never hear of the fact that also that in foreign countries, Christians are being persecuted. I mean, right now we have a converted to Christian Muslim right now who's in jail in the Middle East right now, and the U.S. is pleading for his life. Because, I mean, it's just one of the things that you don't hear about because the liberal media puts such a negative portray of Christians out there. And granted, you know, there's many different faiths when it comes to Christianity. The biggest one you'll see out there is with Catholic priests and the sexual morality that goes from there. And I mean, nobody is perfect. And I know God sees everything that goes on, but it's the thing that you need to move forward, okay? Catholic priest does that. Well, look what the Catholic Church has done. Now, again, with the feeding the hungry and helping the homeless and then doing missions and going to foreign countries and building houses and building schools and teaching and, you know, not necessarily just a handout, you know, but more of a training per se to do what they're called to do. And, but it don't matter who it is, the liberal media, I mean, like I said, the church will do one thing wrong and they blow it up because that's what I mean is hot right now, I guess you can say. I mean, even coming up with this past election, I mean, you can truly see that this country is divided literally in half between what's right and what's wrong. I mean, but the media is only going to focus on one side of it because that's the side that puts up the most money, unfortunately.
Have some background information about yourself?
About myself. My name is Chris Rodriguez. Excuse me. I'm the youth pastor at World Prayer Tabernacle of the movement. Whoop, whoop. I've been in youth ministry